Good morning, class. My name is Kennedy Elliott Barkley Jr. I'm a senior here at North Carolina Central University, majoring in history. Today I'm doing a research project on Mr. Julius L Chambers and his impact that he had on the community as a civil rights activist, a lawyer, and an educator. Mr. Julius L Chambers was born October 6, 1936 in Mount Gilead, North Carolina. He graduated high school in 1954, went to pursue his degree at North Carolina Central University. Mr. Chambers received his degree in history at North Carolina Central University, where he also was the student body president. Upon his graduation from North Carolina Central University, Mr. Chambers went to pursue his graduate studies at Michigan State, where he received a master's degree in history. After Mr. Chambers received his master's degree, he went to study law at UNC Chapel Hill. This was very rare then because black students were not admitted to PWIs during this time. During his time at UNC Chapel Hill, Mr. Chambers was number one in his class out of 100. After receiving his law degree, Mr. Chambers wanted to serve his community and go teach law at Columbia University.
I'm Jerry Gershenhorn. I'm a professor of history here at North Carolina Central University. Julius Chambers was one of the most important attorneys, I would say, in the 20th century, particularly in the area of civil rights. His death, he worked on employment discrimination suits, integration of public schools, as well as promoting education at historically black colleges, serving as the chancellor here back in the 1990s and early 2000s. So he was quite a significant civil rights activist. Probably the case he's most well known for was the Swan versus Charlotte Mecklenburg case. That case was started in the 1960s, but it was decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1971. And the decision of the court was that busing was a constitutional method to integrate the public schools. It was particularly important because even though the Brown versus Board of Education decision had been decided back in 1954, which the Supreme Court had decided that segregation was unconstitutional in the public schools, it had taken many years for the South to comply with integration. And even by 1971, many of the public schools were still largely segregated. So this was an important decision not only in Charlotte and in North Carolina, but throughout the country, because it became used in the South as well as the North and helped to integrate the public schools.
Mr. Julius L. Chambers was also an educator as well. In 1993 to 2001, Mr. Chambers served as the chancellor at North Carolina Central University. When Mr. Chambers came to North Carolina Central University, he noticed that the school was a liberal arts-based institution. So the things that Mr. Chambers wanted to implement was biomedical and biotechnology. Hence, the reason why we have a Julius L. Chambers Biotechnology building now. Mr. Chambers noticed that the school was liberal arts, so he wanted the school to be more well-rounded, and he noticed that the STEM program was taking over the workforce and things.
My name's Andre Van. I'm the coordinator of the University Archives and instructor of public history here at North Carolina Central University. Julius Chambers had a tremendous impact on education. I know it for this institution, North Carolina Central University. Many may not recall that in 2000, he and one of our other alums, Benjamin Ruffin, were largely responsible for one of the largest bonds in the history of the United States of America being passed. That was in 2000, and it was a bond for $3 billion. And as a result of that $3 billion bond, because he clearly understood that many persons at that time were not really willing to sort of upgrade all the HBCUs in terms of their funding. I think he helped to change the image and idea that just because we are an HBCU does not mean that we have to sort of stay there. And I know that may sound difficult to understand, but what I mean by that is, we start out as a liberal arts institution, but under his direction, that saves us for today. he helped to transition us to one that was focused on the sciences, focused on medicine.
Things that he did to help the United States really become more democratic, more egalitarian. One prominent attorney from North Carolina said that Chambers was probably the most important attorney in North Carolina, perhaps the United States, for the years in which he was most active. He was incredibly important, and yeah, it's unfortunate that he is not as well known as some of the other important civil rights activists, like Thurgood Marshall. But Chambers' story should absolutely be told. He was one of the most important Americans in the 20th century.